Good morning, Dan and Amy, and want to circle back to having a constructive conversation about things you can actually do and perhaps should do with your children at home as schools are shuttered in terms of the home education for those not well versed in home education, and depending on how much support you're getting from your children's schools. Interesting. Advice and counsel from Carrie McDonald over at fee.org. She is a homeschooling mom of 4, also the author of the book Unschooled. Avoid replicating school at home. She's got 3 recommendations. That's number 1. You're going to find out that children are going to be able to complete their coursework, if they're still being assigned coursework from their schools, in much less time than in a typical school day. And we'll learn a great deal from the other experiences, insights that will emerge during this challenging time. So don't try to replicate the school day because you're going to have more time to fill. Prioritize play and unstructured time. We know that play is vital for children's healthy development, maybe particularly important as we confront this pandemic. My 6-year-old son was playing recently with the figurines from the board game Risk when I overheard him say to them, "I can't shake your hand. You might have the coronavirus."
Oh.
Children are listening to all that's going on and processing it through play. Prioritizing ample play and unstructured time is one important way we as parents can help our children to cope. And then the third thing she said, or sort of a corollary to the second, for older children accustomed to mostly adult-led activities and supervised extracurriculars, allow them abundant unstructured time over the next several weeks, which could awaken new interests and goals. So those are a couple of important recommendations, useful recommendations, pretty commonsensical, but it's nice to hear from somebody who's a practitioner on a daily basis that those are productive ways to approach the matter.
And most universities and suburban schools begin online teaching today, except for CPS, where you have 400,000 plus students who have pretty much nothing to do. Everything for my boys is just extracurricular. It's disgusting.
Although
it breaks my heart.
Although I think they're probably down. CPS is probably down to more like 325,000 students.
Okay, well,
yeah,
you know.
but yeah, your point is well taken. Also, resources for those like Amy who are left to fend for themselves. A lot of online resources. Lindsay Burke over at dailysignal.com. Project Gutenberg, an online library, more than 60,000 free ebooks of the world's greatest literature. Project Gutenberg. The Ashbrook Center's Teaching American History Project. Mike Machane at EdChoice recommends Brain Pop, which offers online resources, interactivities, quizzes, lessons, and everything from science and social studies to art and engineering. The entire Core Knowledge Foundation curriculum now online for free. Space Foundation, we talked about trade associations like the Chemical Trade Association that has full coursework in chemistry that's online and accessible, in addition to the more well-known outlets like Khan Academy. So there's a lot out there for you to work through. Comic-Con.
Comm Academy.
Yeah.
Comm Academy, yes.
Khan.
Khan Academy.
Like think of Star Trek and
Okay.
Khan. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you.
For more on this topic and what one school is doing, our friends over at Northridge Prep, I saw a missive from one of the Northridge Prep parents that had been sent to the school about how their days are going to be structured for their students with this distance learning at this time away from the brick and mortar institution. And so I wanted to get our friend Neil Fagan on, who's the headmaster over at Northridge Prep, to tell us a little bit about the approach that Northridge Prep, which is one of the best best middle school to high schools in the state, what the approach they're taking is, maybe some lessons to be learned from parents, from Neil Fagan, who joins us now. Neil, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so tell us what your grades 6 through 12. Tell us.
Yeah, that's right.
Tell us the approach that Northridge Prep has taken for middle school and high school students.
Well, it's it's experiment, right? Where you're taking something that involves hundreds of people and reconfiguring it overnight. So we'll see how it goes. This past week, we had told our teachers just to send students home with assignments for Monday, and then on Monday they uploaded assignments for the rest of the week. So this past week was more just a lot of homework and then teachers online answering emails. And then now we're on spring break. But when we come back from break, we're going to be starting a schedule that has 3 classes in the morning. So like at 8:15 and then 9:30 and then 10:45. So we'll be done by noon. And then we'll have scheduled office hours in the afternoon. So, and to kind of allow for all of that, we've gotten all of our teachers webcams and Zoom accounts, and we've reconfigured the schedule in the students' portal so they can just click on their class and be brought into the teacher's Zoom account. So we're going to see. I mean, this is all new, and we did a ton of training this past week for our teachers on how to do it. I mean, one of the issues is you don't want the students in front of the screens all day, and
Right.
we've actually had a pretty anti-tech approach at the school. So I'm worried about that.
Are you going to tell
we-
them? Are you telling them if they? I know because you have a no cell phone policy. Are you telling them if they use cell phones during those 3 classes that will go on their permanent record?
What's funny is these classes are going to be videotaped, and now they're actually going to be on camera too if they have their video stream going.
Oh, okay.
So no longer will it going to be, the student saying, "No, I didn't do that, Mom," and she's going to be able to.
Right. Go right to the camera. Right. Let's go to the video. Instant replay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are you modeling your program after? Is this just something you came up with on your own? Or did you have any guidance?
So, we have, this is really unprecedented times, right? But we have people with kind of variety of backgrounds in the school. I was actually homeschooled a year, my 6th grade, and that was actually really formative, very good experience for me. And then we've got just teachers from different backgrounds. So it's kind of subject area by subject area. Math and science definitely can be a flipped classroom. And so our teachers are going to be using Khan Academy, and there's other really good resources out there for the students to kind of learn on their own. And then we think scheduled office hours with those teachers, and then just meeting as a class once or twice to kind of talk about progress and time for tests will work. The humanities, you need more discussion. You need teachers to kind of teach a little bit of a lecture on history and something about the book, and religion class similar, right? So we've given those classes more actual airtime, if you will. But in all cases, you have to do more student-led work. Just so we're thinking, hey, this is a great opportunity for kind of those creative projects that you don't normally have time to do. Now you do. So that's something that all our teachers are trying to work on, is coming up with these really cool projects that you normally couldn't do.
Well,
They take too much time.
Yeah, and I tell you, I assume that the approach you take to the students that you admit probably comes in very handy in these moments. I'm sure nothing you ever conceived, but I know from visiting with Neil and from visiting the school, the approach is when a student applies to Northridge Prep, there's a meeting with the family. It's not just the student. You don't just do an interview with the student. It's the parents are there too, because you want buy-in from the entire family for the Northridge Prep experience. And so when you get that kind of buy-in from parents, now you're going to have buy-in from parents when it comes to the approach Northridge Prep has taken while the student's at home, and being able to work with the parents too, I assume is valuable.
Yeah, no, it is. So far, the reception to this approach has been positive. We're going to see how it goes, and we've said, hey, we're all going to learn. We might have, what I propose might be too much time in front of the screen. If so, we'll have to dial it back and make even more assignments. But one of the issues is parents are slammed right now, and we're trying to very much, yes, we rely on the parent to make sure the boy's up, but then we're trying to actually do as much as we can without going through the parents, just because if you've got other little kids at home, they need more of the parents' attention. Because our boys, by the time you're in 6th grade, you can work on your own. But so far the parents have been actually very, very complimentary with the approach we've taken. So I'm sure we'll learn. Nothing's perfect.
Is it too late to take 2 more kids?
Yeah,
A freshman and a sophomore?
that are not necessarily enrolled at Northridge at present.
Just as guinea pigs, an experiment,
Yeah.
just to get them up in the morning, 3 hours on, then they can go do some stuff, and then.
I know. There's all these students out there who want to learn, and there's all these teachers out there who right now are not allowed to teach, and there's an opportunity for somebody just to match them together.
We should do it. My best friend lives in Utrecht, Holland, and her daughters get up. English is at 8:40. They're up at 8:40. They have a full day of class. Their teachers are online. Then they break for lunch, and then they can do an activity.
Then they make wooden shoes in the afternoon.
Exactly, and windmills, and pick the tulips. But just saying, it's so structured. I wish that we had that here.
I know. You know, it's funny. I was talking to her mom last night, just saying, "Hey, how's it going?" And she said, "Hey, you need to give him more work." And it's funny. We've gotten the whole spectrum this
Yeah.
past week, and hey, there was way too much work. It wasn't enough. But she said the thing I love the most is that it starts at 8:15. So
Yeah.
he's got to get up, and then he needs to stay busy because I think Dan, you're right. That homeschool mom was like, "Hey, unstructured free time is good," and I think that's absolutely true. But you can't take kids who aren't used to being homeschooled and just all of a sudden give them a ton of unstructured free time. You got to ease people in. I mean, none of us can go from a 360 change or 180 change in overnight. You know.
Right. Right.
So it's got you got to kind of they need structure because they're not used to having no structure.
I'll tell you what.
And this is an opportunity for that, but you can't just do 180.
I got a project for the school, and actually, there's a Washington State high school student who's put together more data. Now, I don't exactly know where his sources are, but they're accurate in terms of the aggregates. But he actually is breaking out the COVID cases by severity. So
Good
you
for
you don't
him.
just get the number of cases, the number of deaths. You're also getting the number of people recovered, the number of people
my
who are
gosh.
serious or mild condition. A Wisconsin high school student did what all these
Yeah.
media outlets can't do. So maybe
Can't do.
Northridge Prep gets together and does something even better than that, giving
I
that detailed data. How about that?
I know. That's awesome, and this is an opportunity for students to take these projects, and we definitely challenged. That was the last day when we knew we were going to close down. We got everybody to the gym, and that's what we challenged. One idea so far is a student was like, "Hey, there's all these people who need help, who because they're quarantined or they shouldn't go out because they're elderly, and we have all these students and parents hold up. Let's see if we can connect them." So he's trying to work on a platform for that. It's a great opportunity for that kind of stuff.
Very good. He is Neil Fagan. He's the headmaster at Northridge Prep, which is a private Catholic school for boys in 6th grade to 12th grade. Boys through 6th grade to 12th grade. Neil Fagan, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks.
Take
And
care.
he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.